Welcome to Politics in Nigeria, a talk show where we are going to be tracking and analyzing some important political events in Nigeria. Doing so is for the purpose of lending our voices and contributing to issues of national development for the sake of patriotism. Nigeria is our country. We have to share our views, we have to get involved, we have to talk. Joining me today to analyze politics this week is Honorable Adeyinka Akimbiyi, presently the Senior Special Assistant to the Executive Chairman of Ibadan Southwest Local Government Area in Oyo State. He is a lecturer and also a PDP member, a politician of course. Honorable, thank you for joining me to analyze politics this week.
You are welcome. I say good day to everybody throughout the world, wherever you are today. By the special grace of God, Nigeria will be a better place for all of us soonest, by the special grace of God.
Thank you. The major political event in the news has been the declaration of interest to aspire for the office of the President of Nigeria on the platform of the APC by the Vice President, Professor Osinbajo'S. To some Nigerians who believe that the Vice President had and even still has a moral embargo, a moral restriction on his presidential ambition, the news came as a surprise, even as a rude shock. While to some other Nigerians who believe that if the Vice President, the Professor, has something burning in his heart to do for Nigeria in terms of political service, and if he has the credentials, the capacity, what it takes to do so, why not? He has the right as a bona fide citizen of the country. So, how did the news come to you?
Actually, as a politician and as a grassroots politician, it's not new to people like us. We've been expecting it to happen, but to be sincere, which the belief that some people have, that I share with them, that he stabbed his boss, his mentor, in the back. It was Tinubu that brought him to political limelight, and the belief was that he's supposed not to have done what he did, knowing fully well that his boss is planning to contest for the seat of president in the country. I won't mince word by telling you the fact that being a professor doesn't mean that you have the acumen to rule this country. Nigeria is a diverse country with a different kind of ethnicity, different kind of religion. Nigeria is a very big country where for you to rule and be successful, sincerely you need God first. Apart from that, you need what we call native intelligence. You see, my personal belief, which I believe is personal, Osinbajo doesn't have the acumen to do this country. Even his boss doesn't have. Tinubu doesn't have the record. He might have done one or two things in Lagos, which everybody can attest to. He has made people. But I can tell you that Obasanjo made more people than him. And nobody is shouting about that. The likes of El-Rufai, the likes of Soludo, the president of Anambra State, the type, if you talk about Okonjo-Iweala, that great woman, Obiese Kwesili, even Fayemi, the governor of Ekiti State. But there is nothing wrong in anybody coming up to say that I want to rule this country and support me. I can do it. But quote me, and I want my people listening to me now to write this down. I have never seen anybody that comes out by himself that I want to contest and rule this country that has ever gotten to that position of presidency in Nigeria. That seat has always been for those that people have been calling to come out and contest. That is you that we want. I'm a student of history. I can tell us boldly that Tafawa Balewa never showed interest. It was that great man from the north, Ahmadu Bello, that happens to be the leader of the north. He's supposed to come to the center. He now asked one of his followers, Tafawa Balewa, to come out and contest. And he won. In 1979, Alhaji Shehu Shagari of blessed memory was planning going to the Senate. It was the northern oligarchy that called me that we want you to rule. We believe in you, that you can deliver. And that was how Shagari became the president of this country. Most of us knows that our father, Yoruba father, the father of the nation, Olusegun Obasanjo, just came from prison, and people are looking for who can be supported from the southwest. The people like the likes of Akinloye, Akinjide came out, but were not given. It was Obasanjo that never showed interest. There are the likes of IBB, Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida, the likes of Sule Lamido, and so on and so forth, went to and said that we want you to rule this country. We believe in you, and he came. The same thing goes for Yar'Adua. It was Atiku that was clamoring to come in to become the president then. Yar'Adua was never showed interest. And we all know that Jonathan came in through by accidentally. It was when Buhari was tired of even contesting that people of the likes of Bola Tinubu, Okorocha, and the likes came together and said that we want you to rule. So, I'm telling you this that I personally believe the likes of Yemi Osinbajo doesn't have the wherewithal to lead this country.
Sorry to cut you short. Your perspective is insightful and interesting. You have raised about 3 issues which are of interest to me as far as this conversation is concerned. First, Honorable, I wonder what people mean when they say that Professor Yemi Osinbajo has betrayed his political master and benefactor, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. What is the betrayal therein? I mean, what exactly is the betrayal?
Thank you very much. I know that in 2015, when they were bringing the parties together, believing that PDP is too powerful and too strong to be defeated. Because for you to win an election in this country, you need a very strong structure that cuts across the norms and premise of this country. That was when they now have to bring in CPC, ACN, AMPP, and a faction of PDP that broke out and broke away. And ABGA, thank you. They now formed that party called APC. When they formed the party and it's now time to pick candidates to contest, it was unanimously agreed that they should support General Muhammadu Buhari to be their sole candidate for the seat of the president. But when the issue of the vice president came up, Bola Ahmed Tinubu showed interest. And from what I heard, it was the former Senate president, His Excellency, that stood against Bola Ahmed Tinubu, that the Muslim ticket would not be acceptable to Nigerians. Tinubu raised an objection that we had that combination bill in the past. That is the era of King Gibe and MQ Abiola, and it was corrected that what was acceptable to Nigeria then will not be acceptable to Nigeria presently. Because of that, they now asked Tinubu to solely produce the person that will be going for the seat of Vice President of Nigeria, along with Buhari. So it was him that went home, sat on his chair, and started ruminating. Who can I be trusted? And according to what I heard, he called one of his disciples, who happens to be one of his commissioners in Lagos when he was the elected governor of Lagos State, the person of Professor Osinbajo, believing that in the nearest future, Buhari and Osinbajo will step aside, while they've already created a platform for him to step in as the presidential candidate of APC. All of a sudden, when the campaign starts, INEC just came up with a program, and all parties must have their primary latest by June. So everybody has to start moving. I know that everybody saw that Bola Ahmed Tinubu went straight to the president and declared to him that he, as one of his strongest followers, backers, that he's coming up to contest as the president. Now it's now time for him to step in. And the agreement they had in the past should be strictly followed. Because of that, Bola Ahmed Tinubu start moving around the country, from the north to the northeast, north central, northwest, southwest, south, southeast, lobbying for support, believing that it's now time to be the president of the country. And before you can say Jack Robinson, the next thing you hear is Osinbajo now coming out saying he also is interested in becoming the president of this country. That's why the betrayal steps in.
But it doesn't look like he was initially interested. It looks like he just became interested recently. All along, it doesn't seem like he has been interested. In fact, it seems like he is being prevailed on by perhaps some elements within the APC. But let me ask you, Honorable, to you, does it seem like some people that we may regard as the powers that be in the APC are not favorably disposed to having Asiwaju Ahmed Tinubu get the APC ticket?
Thank you very much. I want you to understand some certain principles about politics. For you to say that it doesn't look like Osinbajo never had interest from day one. All practicing politician knows that Osinbajo has interest. But politicians, being whom we are, you'll be pretending that you never had interest. Our Baba, our leader, the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, said something that people should not vote for those that are coming out now on the pretext that they don't have the money to buy form. So people will not gather themselves somewhere, they will not purchase the form, which is all lies, and said, I will present the form to you. Please, it's you that can salvage this country. It's you that we have been waiting for. It's you that is our Messiah. Please come out, come and contest. You can do it. You are the best person. The Osinbajo issue is also a pretense. Osinbajo has the interest.
So you are saying he has been pretending all along?
He has been pretending.
Okay.
We know that he will definitely come out eventually. And if you could remember, immediately he called the governors in APC, which I think they're about 22 or 23 in number. Only 12 of them turned up. Even out of those that turned up, some of those that turned up to that meeting were not favorably disposed to his candidature. Some of them belong to Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, like the governor of Lagos State, and some others I will not mention now. When you start seeing what will be unfolding later, the following day, Bola Ahmed Tinubu called the governors also that he had a meeting with them, that they should not forget the agreement that they all had in 2015 when they were forming the party. That it's his own time now to come up. But the truth is that either Tinubu nor Osinbajo will get to that seat, because Nigerians are not fools. Because when APC were campaigning vigorously in 2014, I could remember the slogan in the mouth of mostly youth of Nigeria was "Say Baba, say Baba, we want change." If Buhari doesn't even have certificates, if he has NEPA bill, we will vote for him. It's Buhari we want. And the youth believed in Buhari then because of what they were told. When APC were campaigning, the price of petrol was 87 naira per litre. And I could remember APC were clamoring, they were shouting through one of our leaders. He's dead now. He's an erudite scholar. Professor Tom became the former minister under Buhari during his military regime. He was shouting everywhere, and Buhari was also saying it, that fuel will fall to 40 naira per liter, sorry, which never happened. The least you have in Nigeria now is 165. When Jonathan was about living, a bag of rice, which is a common food for Nigerians, was 7,500 naira per bag. What I just said now is as if we are talking about 50, 100 years ago. Can you imagine, after just 4 or 5 years, even 3 years, that Jonathan left the seat, and now this 7 years, rice has risen to 33,000 naira per bag. It's so absurd. The life of a common man is so miserable in Nigeria now. When people like us were growing up, what we used to know is, what we used to hear and know, was that there is 3 stages of human beings in Nigeria: the rich, the middleman, and the poor. The truth is that that middle has disappeared into thin air. It's either you are up there or you are down there. And even those that are even up there, they are not even enjoying their money. It's so sad. No light in the country again. It's either you are hearing that the grid, national grid has collapsed. Every day is collapsing. And you still see Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And the worst part, Osinbajo now saying that he's ready to pick it up where Buhari stops. That means to continue dealing with Nigerians, to continue putting more hardship in the life of Nigerians. Come off it, man. That's bad.
Talking about Professor Osinbajo saying that he is going to continue or pick it up from where Buhari would stop. You know, I read something in the Nation newspaper yesterday that by that statement, or by that sort of statement, that the prof has shot himself in the foot. But that is by the way. Let me ask you, Honorable, as an opposition person that you are, I mean, as a PDP member, from your standpoint as an opposition figure, between Tinubu and Osinbajo, who is the PDP more afraid of?
Afraid is afraid doesn't even come in to start with. The manner and way Buhari handled that seat of power has really opened the way for PDPs to step in easily. So no matter how big, no matter how powerful no matter how lettered, no matter how educated any personality for APC that is planning or thinking of contesting is, PDP will surely defeat such a person. The reason is not far-fetched. From all other opposition parties in this country, PDP is the only party that has the structure to face what is on ground. SDP doesn't have it. There is no ADC. Accord, NNPP is just trying to waste their own time. It has been floated by Kwakwanso, with all respect. I expected Kwakwanso to have supported whatever decision PDP decided to take. But for him to have decided to go and float another party that has no structure in this country is a waste of time and energy. Quote me. And what I say, I believe that at the end of 2023, God's willing, will all be alive. They are going nowhere. To come back to your question, PDP fear no foes. Even bringing, if it's possible, if APC will be having Tinubu and Osinbajo on the ballot paper, will beside their party logo, PDP, anybody that PDP picks will defeat the two of them together. Because the foundation of APC, there is nothing like foundation. The APC was built on just a plain ground. And any moment from now, you will see the old building collapsing. It's already collapsing already.
But you and I know what incumbency means. I mean, the power of incumbency in the politics of Nigeria. So, is the PDP not afraid of the incumbency factor in favor of the APC? Call it the ability to rig, if you like.
You are right. I can tell you that it is believed that an incumbent party will always rig an election in this country. But I can tell you, you can only rig when you are being popular. That's the truth. That's the principle of our politics. You can only rig when you are being popular. I can tell you authoritatively that if APC tries anything like rigging, they will be shamefully disgraced. And because Nigerians are tired, and I'm assuring you, come 2023, February and March election, you will see people, the electorate, standing up. People will stand seriously. I'm telling you, you will see electorate themselves standing by their ballot boxes, that nobody, even if you bring more than enough thugs with guns and machete, you will face them. That enough is enough.
Okay, another issue.
Sorry, before you go on, they've seen APC as an epidemic, a virus that must be, a bacteria that must be quickly treated and out of our system.
Well, that is your own opinion, of course, from your standpoint as an opposition person. Another issue that you raised that is of interest to me in this conversation is a statement you made implying that Professor Osinbajo and even Bola Ahmed Tinubu do not have the qualification. I mean, that they are not qualified enough to become president of Nigeria. In my own estimation, Professor Osinbajo is eminently qualified. I mean, looking at his credentials alone qualify him eminently to become president of Nigeria. And that is in my own estimation. Bola Ahmed Tinubu also has the credentials and his antecedents. What Lagos has become today can be, the credit can be given to Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So, Honorable, what do you mean when you say that these two eminent figures are not qualified enough to become president of Nigeria?
You are trying to put down in my mouth. I will definitely talk. You say you can't take development of Lagos out of Tinubu. Yes, he tried in Lagos. But this is the man that grew up in Ibadan, in Agbokojo in Ibadan here. That's where he started his life. We are all, as I've said, I'm a student of history, and we are all alive. when Tinubu was taken to court by that great man, late Janifawa, that he never had certificates, that he never finished from government college. I stand by that fact because from my own findings, he never went to government college.
Sorry to cut you short, Honorable. A man that did not finish from government college, according to you, or according to your citation of history or historical event of somebody taking him to court, a man that never finished from government, that is to imply that he did not finish secondary level of education. But we know, according to his credentials, that he was an accountant, even worked in mobile oil company. So if he never finished from, how was he able to become an accountant?
Thank you very much. I have a lecturer in I have a lecturer in University of Ilorin, Professor Okuola. He's a man that never went to primary or secondary school. On his own, he sat for GC and he had very good grades. From there, he went to university and he was retained as a lecturer, and that's him today.
Really?
Become a professor. We have very few people like that. But the truth about Tinubu, anybody can become anything in life. The reason why I say Osinbajo is never qualified is that Osinbajo is qualified with his certificate. He's a professor of law. Yes, well qualified. He was once a commissioner under Bola Tinubu. He is presently the vice president of this country. But the reason why I said he's not qualified is that for 7 years now, almost 7 years now, he has been the vice president of this country. And the president has not done anything meaningful in this country. All institutions are collapsing on a daily basis. And a professor of that magnitude sat under this man that has nothing to offer this country. The most beautiful thing he's supposed to have done is to resign and leave that position. History would have had his name in gold, written in gold. That was a man that stood his ground, that he cannot be under an unperforming president. A president that's just sitting on that chair doing nothing. In Nigeria that I grew up from, where a man in Ibadan can travel to Maiduguri and be living in peace, where a man from Calabar can go to Sokoto and be living in peace. When I did my youth service in this country years back, I was very fortunate. I served in Kogi State, but in between, I traveled around Nigeria. Governor Seyi Makinde has sincerely performed beyond everybody's imagination. This is a man that came from the background of a very poor background, but along the way, God made him to be a very rich man. He has performed a lot of wonders in these states, which people from other states are now, they are envious of his performance presently. He really did a lot of things. He has really touched the educational sector, the health sector, infrastructure amenities, the agricultural sector, name it. Sincerely, the former governor, excuse me, who spent 8 years, late Governor Ajimobi, constructed 48 kilometers of road throughout the state. And within a year that Seyi Makinde got there, he constructed beautiful roads, checking Moniyat Ibadan to Iseyin Road. That's about 68 kilometers of road. The dualized Shaki Township. That's about 5.6 kilometers of road. Beautiful roads. Go to Akala Express in Ibadan. That was initially constructed by late Governor Akala. Governor Seyi Makinde didn't even say that they are not from the same party. He repaired the road, about 7.4 kilometers of road. Presently, he has finished Shaki to Ogbomosho Road. And ongoing is saying to Oyo Road. And go to Ajia to Airport Road. That was about 15 kilometers road. Beautiful things. He stopped the payment of money by primary and secondary school students in Ibadan, Oyo State, sorry. Free school now is free of charge, giving them textbooks and big notes every year. Go to schools now through Subeb, Dr. Nora Adeniro. We are having beautiful schools now, which is still ongoing throughout the state. Chairs and desks, beautiful ones, like the days when we were in school during the Bola Ige regime in the early 80s. This is what you call developmental projects. Governor Wike was in Oyo State the other time, and he named Seyi Makinde the project's executioner governor of Southwest. Fintiri, the governor of Adamawa, said the same thing when he came. The same thing by Tambuwa when he came, the governor of Sokoto State. Sincerely, most of us believe that Seyi Makinde, if given the chance to rule this country, will perform wonders. If a young man like that can turn a state like Oyo State, come to Oyo State, I will name roads and tell me if there's any pothole on those roads, and they are all federal government roads. From Kodo, New Garage, Challenge, Molite, Idiarere Bere, to Gates, to Bashoru, man, beautiful road. Go to Ring Road in Ibadan, to Dugbe, to Mokola, that is roundabout, to UI, to Songo, to UI, to Ojo. Solid, beautiful road. That's the beauty of governance in Oyo State, and that's the beauty of Seyi Makinde. Give it to him. The man has really worked. So, agricultural sector, he has been taking our youth on agri-business to a farm settlement in Nasarawa. For the governor said if the Hausas can be performing wonders when it comes to foodstuffs in Nigeria. We have lands in Oyo State. Yes, we have lands. Go to Okiogun, go to Ibarapa, go to Okiogun, Ogbomosho side. We have land, good lands, where we can be producing all these stuffs. The governor that decided that okay, let's go and tap from the Hausas, like Malaysia did in 1978 when Obasanjo was the president of this country. They came to Nigeria to tap from us. How do we make this palm oil? They came here with their professors in our universities. They went to the field. They learned how we always do this thing. So that's what the governor has been doing, taking our youths to Nasarawa, and they'll be giving them lands now to performing wonders. And you will now see in the next few years, Oyo State will be up there when it comes to production of farm produce.
in a nutshell, what you mean to say is that the governor has done well enough to be able to get the support of Oyo people for the second term in office as governor of Oyo State. But do you think that he should rather have gone for the presidential or vice presidential ticket of the PDP instead of a second term ticket as governor of Oyo State?
As you were asking me the question, I was laughing. You see, I said something the other time, and I'll repeat it now. With my age, I've not seen anybody that comes out by himself that wants to win this country that has ever got into that seat. MKO tried it. Our Baba, the great Obafemi Awolowo of blessed memory, tried it. Buhari tried it, he failed. Not until he was asked by people that he should come. That is him that they want. Wike said something, Governor Wike, Governor Nyesom Wike, few months ago now, that the person that PDP will present will shock Nigerians.
And you think that person is going to be Governor Seyi Makinde?
I'm not really saying that it will be Governor Seyi Makinde, but I'm 100% sure that if PDP will be picking our candidate from Southwest, the person that has the muscle, the well-weather, the charisma to lead this country, is no other person than Governor Engineer Oluwaseyi Makinde.
So if the stakeholders in the PDP offer the presidential ticket or the vice presidential ticket to Governor Makinde, even on a platter of gold, what would you advise him to do? Would you advise him to abandon the second term governorship ticket that he has picked already to go for the presidential or vice presidential ticket if he is so offered?
Yes, if he's offered that position, I will personally clamor and beg our indefatigable and highly performing government to look around him and pick somebody that believe in PDP ideology and his way of ruling this state, to step into his shoe to rule as governor, and he should please go up there in Abuja to help us salvage this country. Ruling a country is not by might and it's not by power, it's by God's grace and by what you have up here. Yes, a country like France is being ruled by a very young man. I agree that they have a solid institution on ground. Their institutions are functioning, but a man like Seyi Makinde can help us. Being president, being vice president, I know he's capable of supporting whoever becomes the president. And if luckily he gets that seat of president, he can help in salvaging this country.
So, if he abandons the governorship, the second term governorship ticket of Oyo State that he has already picked, and he goes for the vice presidential ticket or the presidential ticket of the PDP, and he tries and he fails, in the election, what then would be his next? I mean, where would he go from there in his political career? So my question is, don't you think it is too risky for him to do so?
This life that we are is a risk itself. The day I was given birth to, I'm sure there are some of my mates then that died, that never made it to this life. So being alive also till these days by risk. And that's where I always respect an ordinary Igbo man. An Igbo man will take any risk. I'm talking about reasonable risk in business to make it in life. And that is why we have an Igbo man up there in this country, because they can take risk. Seyi Makinde coming up to contest as vice president, as you said, or president, is not going to be by risk, because, as I've said, APC has failed woefully. In a session whereby APC has failed, that's a springboard for him to easily get to that position. And I know anybody being chosen by PDP, maybe through consensus or through primary, the person will eventually lead this country. And God's willing, the person to salvage us from this quagmire that we are finding ourselves. Thank you.
Thank you, Honorable. I would like us to find time to talk about the person of Governor Seyi Makinde. I have heard quite a lot about him. I have observed quite a lot about him. He seems to, he seems to be a very interesting person, and it would be nice to have an analysis of him. I would like us to analyze his person and the trajectory of his political success. How he got from wherever he came from to become who he is today in the political firmament of this country, particularly in Oyo State. So I would like us to find time to do that, and that is by the way. So let's talk about PDP at the center. PDP today is in opposition. PDP today is the opposition party, the major opposition party. By virtue of the fact that the party was defeated in 2015 and defeated again in 2019 by the incumbent president Muhammadu Buhari and the incumbent party, the APC. Now the PDP is trying to come back at the center. What do you think?
Thank you very much.
What do you think are the chances of the PDP to come back in 2024?
PDP's chance is very, very bright. I can tell you, if I say it's 100%, it should be as if I'm talking too much. But I can tell you that PDP chance of coming back to the 95%. And the reason is not far-fetched. APC has disappointed Nigerians woefully. If Muhammadu Buhari has performed beyond expectation, even up to 40 or 50%, PDP might have find it so difficult getting to that seat. But PDP is having this bright chance because APC has really failed. No good news again. To the extent that during Buhari regime, our football is dying on a daily basis. When Jonathan was even there, we won nothing less than 2 under 17 World Cup. One nation's, African nation, 2013. Can you imagine? Nigeria is going down the drain every day. Nothing is functioning in this country. The only project Buhari was fortunate to complete that was started by Jonathan, the railway project, was bombed a few weeks ago, and people were adopted. A lot of people died, and nothing. And are you telling me that the government doesn't know where the bandits are? Don't we have drones in this country? What's the essence of those fighter jets? Please, I beg you, Babadu, resign and go back to your Daula.
But most of the security challenges that you meant to refer to did not start in the time of this administration. Most of those security challenges were also there in the time of the Jonathan administration of the PDP. Even though you may want to argue that those challenges were not as bad as they are today, but they were there also during the time of Jonathan of the PDP.
Thank you very much. As I've told, I'm a student of history. I know this Boko Haram issue started during PDP regime. Yes, nobody can shy away from the truth. It was one of those key points that Buhari stood on, saying that if given the opportunity to rule in 2015, after 6 months, we will not hear anything about Boko Haram again in this country. But the truth was, during Jonathan time, Boko Haram were operating in 3 states, Adamawa, Yobe, and Borno states. But it has gone beyond that today. Go to Katsina, go to Zamfara, go to Sokoto, go to Plateau State, go to Benue State. The truth is getting worse on a daily basis. Buhari has no solution to, and the reason, and if you remember, he was shouting, "I'm coming with change." That was the slogan they used. Everything will change. food will be plenty. There will not be anything like insurgency again. There will be, we will have good roads. Petrol na 40 will turn to 40 naira. Nothing has happened. Thank you very much.
Well, Honorable, even though I have no stand for or against any party, PDP or APC, but as a Nigerian, as a politically conscious Nigerian, what I know for sure, just like every other Nigerian knows, is that there is failure of government today in Nigeria. So, sincerely tell us, who among the prominent aspirants in the PDP, I mean presidential aspirants, do you think can do the magic for us if elected president of Nigeria in 2023?
I can boldly tell you that nobody has any magic. No human being has any magic. But I know that we have good economists that can help in revamping our dead economy. I say dead economy because yesterday I was privileged to see a boarding pass that somebody used in 1980 when going to UK, United Kingdom. The person has 1,000 US dollars as his boarding pass, which was equivalent to 548 naira, meaning that naira was far better than dollar in 1980. And do you know what happened today? That same 480 naira to $1,000 is now 480 naira to $1 today. I'm crying for this country. Buhari is a disaster. I'm not sorry to say.
So who in the PDP do you think can do the magic for us or can salvage this country?
We have good politicians in PDP. Peter Obi is a very good man. We all know what he did when he was the governor of Anambra State. He can really help us to revamp this country. Seyi Makinde is equally very good.
Even though he is not a presidential aspirant.
President, yes.
Yes.
The likes of Bala Muhammad, the governor of Bauchi, is equally very good. And Tambua is also equally good. But personally, what I'm clamoring for as a Nigerian, believe me sincerely from the depth of my mind, is that PDP should take Peter Obi from the east. It's time for the Easterners to rule this country. We've cheated them enough. No matter what might have happened in the past, I know some people will be talking about what happened in the first coup of 1960, January 15. But I know after so many years of civil war, it's time to forgive ourselves. And we should all believe in one Nigeria. Has been clamored by Sheikh Shagari these days. Let us support our man, Peter Obi from the east. Let's give him a chance and support him wholeheartedly. I know, I believe Nigeria will smile that PDP has come back again and Peter Obi being given the chance. We will reform this country and we will be on the track to success in Jesus' name.
That brings me to this, and it is a final question. Today, PDP appears to be in a dilemma of a choice of a presidential candidate, and the dilemma is what should be versus what can work. Some people within the PDP believe that what should be is that the presidential ticket should be zoned to the southeast by the PDP, while some other people believe that what can work should be considered above what should be. And they believe that what can work is that the northern presidential candidate can win the election for the PDP, considering the fact that the north has the majority in terms of voting population? What do you think?
Thank you. Concerning that, I believe so much that it's the turn of the Southeast. It's my personal opinion. And there should be equity in this country. If you want to sincerely go by federal character, now we'll be clamoring about which we have not been using. We are just saying we are not using in this country. It's the turn of the Easterners. But you see, one thing I will tell you now, there is a joker that PDP is playing towards. We can't let our cards out of the bag. We have to play the game so that APC will fall to that ditch before we come out with our golden card. As I said, I will tell you the joker now. But PDP knows, we know what we are doing. It's looking as if PDP doesn't even know where to pick a candidate now. I can tell you boldly that we know what we are doing. And we are playing a game. And soon as we all see what that game is all about, by the time we come out with what we put in that bag, Nigerians will be shocked and Nigerians will be happy that PDP truly knows what we are doing. And PDP is the only party that has the structure in Nigeria. I pray God Almighty will take us to that promised land where you and I will put on our lights and there will be light. If a small country that was tapping lights from Nigeria before, I'm talking of Benin Republic and Togo, will be having lights for 24 hours, and our big for nothing Nigeria has no light for 24 hours. It's a big shame in this country. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Honorable, for joining me to analyze politics in Nigeria this week. Thank you very much. It has been an interesting moment of conversation with you. I hope our viewers enjoy the conversation, and I hope that subsequent moments of conversation with you will be much more interesting.
I'll be ready anytime when it comes to politics in Nigeria, because to Nigeria to get to that promising life, when I'm alive, is my prayer. And I know, and I use the opportunity to call on graduates and non-graduates, youths with native intelligence, with that acumen that can help this country, to please come up and join politics. People say politics is a dirty game. I never see it as a dirty game. It's people that are playing that are dirty. Those of us that are not dirty should please come up and support to revamp this country. And I believe so much. This is not theoretical. Practically, we can take Nigeria to greater heights. Thank you very much, Nigerians.
Thank you very much. Honorable Yinka Akimbiyi is also a lecturer, a politician, and a member of the PDP. Thank you once again, Honorable. Thank you, viewers. Kingsley Onwuka is my name, and the program is Politics in Nigeria. Join us next week for another edition. Thank you.
Nigeria is